MX Unleashed is a game that I didn't do a retrospective video on when I went through all of the MX vs. ATV games, but I decided to cover all of the tracks in the game because I think that this game had some really good ones. Starting with Supercross and going in alphabetical order, Bridgeport is our starting point. Already, this track is far more intricate than what we saw in either Off-Road Fury games, with steep peaky rhythm lanes and two massive whoop sections. The jumps are also built very well. They are spaced out near perfectly, but do often funnel you into the same lines almost purposefully. The stadium is closed dome and I don't really have anything to say about it, but this is a good start. Charlotte is pretty flat and wide open. All of the sections are designed to be tackled a specific way every time, and I think riding the 250 was a mistake, as it just feels like this track was built for the 125. Once again, everything is built very well. There are no janky jump faces or abrupt transitions, though there is a bail on the finish line triple that is very obnoxiously placed. Chicago has a pretty colorful open-air stadium that I really like the look of, but the track is a little awkward. Once again, the rhythm sections feel tuned to the 125s, but the triples are really big. Definitely doable, just not really scaled to the rest of the track. The in-betweens on the on-off are extremely steep, and if you get in between them, you are completely screwed since there is nothing to jump to after it. Cincinnati was a weird one. The finish line section is a whoop section with a little tabletop in the middle, and it's far more narrow than the rest of the track. The rhythm sections were kinda technical, and I had fun exploring lines and trying new jump combinations, though some of the jumps had very steep downsides and were not really optimal for landing on. There was also a left 90 that was pretty poorly placed. Depending on where you are in the rhythm, the berm encroaches pretty deep into the track. Definitely needed to be pushed over a little more. Cleveland is a very smoothed out track. It has a couple split options and jumps over itself twice. The two whoop sections were also pretty tall, so you definitely aren't going to want to mess them up, and I actually got tripped up by the big triple before the finish. Interestingly, the stadium is almost exactly the same as Cincinnati, with the only change to the model being the removal of the roof. For the third track in a row, Dallas has us in the same stadium, once again with no roof. This track doesn't really have any mind-blowing or standout track features. There is a split lane, but it isn't anything special. The optional outside line is so much slower, there's no reason to go out there. The first section is almost set up like a rhythm section, but it really isn't meant to be treated like one. Just two separate jumps that flow into each other, but I actually messed it up on both of my recorded laps. Fourth track in a row in the same stadium. Denver is honestly a pretty traditional Supercross track. It has a relatively standard layout, a few rhythm sections, a couple big whoop sections that can eat you up if you aren't ready, and a few split lane rhythm options. Overall, I actually really liked this one, though it did have one Supercross triple with a very rough ground to jump face transition, but I can forgive it for that. Detroit is actually a really cool one, being the first track to take you outside of the stadium. It's pretty well decorated with a couple vehicles in the parking lot and buildings littered across the street from the stadium. There's also a blimp flying around, though I'm not sure I got it in the video. Despite being a pretty easy track, I really struggled to get a good lap on it. For the most part, there isn't anything here that is designed poorly, I just couldn't get the hang of it for some reason, and it shows in the gameplay. Houston is placed in an all-too-familiar stadium and is very bland. It has a weird layout, no options in its jump lanes, and no standout jump features like a bridge or outlandishly large jump. It really is just a nothing track. Jackson, on the other hand, was a pretty fun flowing course. I really liked the more technical rhythm lanes, and I loved that there was actually one rhythm section I never felt like I got quite right. It gives me something to chase and try to improve on. Other than that, it's a pretty standard Supercross layout with a few oddball split rhythm lanes. This was around the time I started losing my patience with this game. Las Vegas was a generic track, in the same stadium we've seen like 7 times. I didn't get a single actual good lap on this track, but that's fine since I also don't have anything to say about it. Lincoln ended up being really fun for me. Some really good fun rhythm sections with multiple ways to tackle them, and a curving whoop section that leads into a turning rhythm depending on how you decide to tackle it. The finish line rhythm section is also an absolute send. I bet you could clear the whole thing on the 500 if you were really stretching. Los Angeles is another track I ended up really liking. The rhythm lanes were challenging, the whoop section was really hard, but nothing really felt poorly placed or built, with the exception of 1 or 2 jumps, but nothing I took note of. Lynchburg isn't anything special, but it doesn't do anything poorly. Its only crime is that it blends in with the other Supercross tracks really badly, which isn't really an exclusive problem to this track. On to Memphis now. I'm a little conflicted on it. It has a funky layout and feels scaled a little smaller than the other Supercross tracks, which I really like. However, I felt that some of the sections were proportioned awkwardly, and the best way to tackle every section was by trying to clear the whole thing. It was while doing laps on Norfolk I wondered if commentating over the Supercross tracks in this game was gonna be worth it. There are like 8 to go after this, and I feel like I'm grasping at straws to find interesting things to say. It's another track in a stadium we've already seen a few times. It has a split section that's kinda cool, but nothing to write home about. Phoenix has a pretty cool looking stadium with a rock wall and water feature pushed into one of the corners. I love the purple and pink hues in the sky. In terms of layout, it has 3 whoop sections. The last section feels like whoever built it wanted a 4th whoop section, but then decided that was too many and built the rough idea of a rhythm section. Pittsburgh was kinda cool. It's another track that goes out of the stadium into the parking lot. You can even see a Moto XXX trailer parked at the back of the lot. The track is also pretty fun. The jump lines were pretty rigid and don't really offer any variety in the rhythms, but it was a good flowing layout all the way around. Provo is a track I really liked. It's another track that feels like it's scaled a little smaller than the others and has some funky technical rhythm sections that have multiple ways to tackle them. I am tired of this stadium though. I am very much ready to do the Nationals tracks. Rochester shares a stadium with Phoenix, which is a dub for me because I love this stadium. I also ended up really liking this track too. For the most part, it's pretty straightforward and doesn't have a whole lot of variety in its rhythm lanes, but it's another track that is fun to flow around, and the last rhythm section is super fun. Nearing the end of the Supercross track list, we have San Antonio, and I actually love this track. I can't really place my finger on why, but I always have so much fun doing laps on this track. The turning jump lines are sick, and I love the option to jump over or into the massive dragon's back. Really fun track, probably my favorite Supercross. San Diego is another track I really like. The rhythm sections are fun and have lots of options. There is a gnarly split rhythm section, though the whoop side is so much faster there is no reason to take the other option. Springfield was almost another unremarkable track, but its rainy ambience was a pleasant surprise to me. I completely forgot about this track, which can actually be said about most of the Supercross tracks in the game, but that's besides the point. I liked this one, and it's pretty much only because of the rain. Despite going in alphabetical order, the final Supercross track is Atlanta, and this track, while unremarkable, is one that I did have a lot of fun riding. I really liked the rhythm lanes, and the more generic Supercross layout gave it a slightly more grounded feel.